if the sun shines brightly enough on both of these teams to get a similar game to last time.
I hope it's at least half as fun as we saw the last matchup, but I think it probably will be interesting at least. We are seeing 1UP bring some of their familiar players in terms of we're going to have Hungry on the Ying, as you were talking about, and Rips on the Glass. We saw a lot of that previously. Para has been pretty good on Ashe, but I'd say even more so on IQ, but it really depends on the map, I think. And Vale has been a good Habana as well. So overall, the lineup we'd expect, although Lazo was not, again, the player that he was the coach normally.
Yeah.
So I assume he knows the strats. The question is, can he execute them in a way that can replace KS? That's going to be the big question here, especially as Mira is a big player on this particular bomb site as well as pretty much the whole map.
This is something we haven't been seeing too much of. It's just completely opening the floorboards and even the walls themselves leading into the VIP here.
Yeah, and that's VIP has become such a point of contesting. Rather than let them have the opportunity to try and open it up, they're just going to do that. The only problem is you can get pinched on that window as well if they've got good window control, but they're not bringing something like a Blackbeard like we see someone like Young constantly do. So they do have the ability to play in that room a little bit better. And Uno bringing this mute here, going to try and deny some intelligence on that, so hopefully they can't make that call as easily to say just pinch them from VIP and the window so they can't contest you. But Glass is going to be a big part of that here. Obviously, he can open up the hatch as well for the team, which he's going to do. One more there. All right, there you go. And now he's going to be able to fight some angles from upstairs after doing some initial droning for his entry guys. And then, of course, Lazo probably not going to do too much entry fragging, one can hope, as he needs to be able to do a little bit more support first with that Lion.
Yeah, I've seen Hall of Fame being extremely important to a take into the bedroom. There's nobody here to challenge him. However, with the way that ENCE have set up the entire bedroom to be opened up and even to be shot from below, Bunsi taking a bit of damage there at the start.
Interesting.
However, you know that 1UP will rely on Hungry to push in, but if the Candelas don't roll correctly into the back here on bomb site A, then Hungry just becomes dead weight, and he can't really do much with it.
I don't think that's likely. Just with, I mean, with him. But you never know. Like, obviously, Jaeger's ADS also plays a factor in that. Rips, though, already with a kill. You've got to watch out for that Glass. You got to know that they're going to be bringing that on this map. It can be pretty deadly. We've seen a lot of different ways to play it. But playing it from the hatch there is a little bit different. Wilkie actually low on health already. Unfortunately for him, his roam could be cut short very quickly if they're able to catch him off guard. But a late C4 from him on that destructible floor when they go to plant is definitely going to be a pivotal play if it can get to that point. But Alliance can stop his movement right now.
Yeah, they'll spot Wilkie moving around, and they know that there's a pulse below, so they'll try to burn out the ADS here before they start moving, and they'll use Veil for that. Now, you don't always need the Habana to open up reinforced walls. You can just use it to burn so many ADSs, which is something a lot of people complain about, especially
Para could potentially cut off Wilkie there. He's definitely looking for him. Push starting to come in here. They're burning those rest of those ADSs, getting ready for that Candela in the smoke, and it's going to be up to Para. What?
Immediately from Uno, he just watches the doorway and gets the shot on Hungry. Lazo is still in the back, but it's a 4v4. There's 39 seconds left on the clock. You saw the jump in to the bathroom here, but they're unable to find a frag through it. Remember, the mirror window will give 100% information for ENCE on the defense. Panari, just a bit of damage done to him as Lazo trying to spray in. Para will get the kill, but Panari will refrag on Veil, taking him out. 20 seconds on the clock. The fuser's down on the floor, and they haven't picked it up just yet. There we go. We'll be doing that. And Para can't find the second kill. Oh, so close. Yes, he can. But no fall to the floor. Rips taking just a bit of damage. Para gets the second one. Unfortunately, he'll get the drop. Bunsi gets the first one. He still needs to go through two more here. He's going to get popped, and that should get the kill. There you go. It's a 1v1, and now it's Lazo, the coach, who has to clutch this. Can he go for the peek? Yes, he can. It'll get the shot as 1UP pick up the first round. ENCE have started to just incorporate strategies from other teams in other regions in here. You know, why do we need to reinforce? We can just open up everything.
I think it was a good strategy. Yeah. It just down to the gunfights being won, and then you have a Glass though. That's the thing to consider though, is you opened it all up and that's great. But when there's a Glass in play, that makes it a little less great, because now you've given someone who has a long range and can easily spot you as you try and move in the advantage. Now, he tried to pre-fire quite a bit, and unfortunately for him, the timing between those shots, he doesn't have a high rate of fire, and it kind of backfired on him in that case. And the early pick on Hungry definitely made me think that maybe that push wasn't going to work, but it just came down to good gunfights. It was interesting to see the play in the hall as well. They were stuck in VIP trying to fight both the hall and the actual bedroom through the wall, and so that actually kind of worked against. It worked the way ENCE was hoping in a sense, in that they pressured them in that VIP room to not be able to sit comfortably because they could rotate out through that hall, and you didn't have a Glaz, for example, watching that hallway from above. So I think some interesting mistakes in taking advantage of things from both teams there really worked out, but it came down to Lion Lazo winning that gunfight at the very end. It was close though. Easily could have gone either way. I feel like that was a good feel-out round for both teams though to get some idea how to play it, as we will be seeing that bomb site quite a bit. But interestingly enough, 1UP of course is going to be going to Hookah, which is a less picked bomb site. This is, I would say, the third pick.
Germans and Hookah is not an unusual mix-up. However, Vale will be going for the Legion. That'll be a big help. Of course, Mute becoming more and more of a must-pick for a lot of teams to counter plays from the Lion, to counter plays from... It's starting to become an even better pick than going for a Bandit, because it's a lot more difficult and offers more variety to what it does compared to a normal Bandit battery, where you can just have a mute jammer set up and it disables drones as well. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely becoming a more important pick, and then luckily for ENCE though, they picked IQ as well, so they're going to be able to get spot out those jammers a little earlier. Not that the drones aren't going to find them very quickly, so either way they'll be able to do some work to try and hopefully get rid of some of them, but nonetheless the line is at least going to be activated early enough to hopefully catch a roamer or two, but I don't think they're going to expose themselves, and unfortunately ENCE just don't have enough map control yet to be able to push heavily on any of those roamers. They're still just trying to find the angles. Kanto opening up some of the wall, and a Twitch drone here potentially clearing out some of those mute jammers as well, which is going to work in their favor. Cameras also going down. That's going to make it harder to control that hallway. I haven't been seeing too much plays of Twitch in general, but it's a bit of a breath of fresh air to be finally seeing Twitch back at it again. You see, they can't even activate the Kairos because of the mute jammers. That's why they needed the Twitch to run in. Took down at least one of them. Now they can use them yet again to open into the A site. Now, mute jammer is a bit too far away there, so can't really help. But they'll have some sort of angle to cut up rotations.
Now we do have a Legion as well, so that's going to provide a little bit of intel on the push. So that's going to be able, or allow the defenders to sit a little more static. But Hookah is such a small room, you kind of have to play between the sites into the billiards room as well, and that's unfortunately not going to work out for Lazo, who is down, and that's going to mean Hookah control goes over to ENCE.
Now they'll open up the mirror window in the back. Great plays here by Uno on the Twitch. They'll set up, get a Claymore. Mute jammer will try to set down the drone there, but it won't happen. As what is that? What are you doing, Rips? No, what are you doing?
Killed himself and a teammate.
Oh my God! Hungry will get the kill at least on Kondo, but it turns it into a 4v2. Hungry solo on HP, and he will fall immediately. Wallbang here. Spot up Vale, who's now low on health, and Uno will clean him up. What is happening today?
Well, at least they won the first round, and it's only tied now, so I imagine Rip's getting a little bit of an earful for that, but we didn't exactly see what happened. It's possible it could have been some kind of play where he went to throw and detonate, and his teammate ran in front of him, blocked the C4 so it fell down in front of him. Things like that happen in the chaos of the environment. Communication's great, but sometimes communication doesn't, you're not going to yell out loud, "Don't run in front of me." It just needs to kind of be that timing and coordination, and you saw them getting a little desperate towards the end as they started to lose control of Hookah once Lazo went down. They were getting a little more desperate on that retake, and obviously just a little bit of a mix-up there. But after a strong first round, I feel like they could come back. It's just defense not great in their favor. We are going to go to Penthouse again, though. ENCE is going to try it one more time. They did a pretty good job defending it the first time, so it's just a question of adjusting. Although they did get Hungry the first time. If Hungry can be a little smarter in terms of not getting picked off early this time, the attack also might go down a bit differently. I imagine they're still probably going to open up all of that wall again. Probably didn't think it worked against them, but they still got a plan for Rips being on that Glaz. If he plays a little bit smarter, they're not going to be able to move very freely in that site, because it is hard to contest a Glaz when you don't know the exact position in VIP he's going to be, because he's got the advantage of the long angle, and they're not bringing anyone with ACOGs or anything that's going to be able to fight that long angle. There's no Rook or Doc or an Echo or anything like that. So he's going to have the advantage in that engagement. But, again, he needs to have that timing right, because his rate of fire is much slower. So it just depends on keeping the rest distracted and stopping them from pushing into the room. Let's say they plant behind the bed, for example. They're just going to have to deal with smokes and C4, which are undoubtedly going to come out. Wilkie, however, this time not going to be on Pulse, means he's not going to be roaming the same way as he was. They caught him out last time, and so he decided, you know what, I'm going to instead get a little more intelligence by throwing up cameras rather than using a heartbeat sensor. Still going to have a C4, still going to be able to play intelligently and be the IGL I need to be, but with a bit more spread out vision, and I think that was the right change for ENCE to make.
It's a different way of playing. It is, of course, down to the information. With the Pulse, you need to be alive and do the work on your own. However, with the Valkyrie, then you can just have information that is spread out, directly fed to your teammates that anybody can access with the cameras, and you don't need to rely on yourself as well to IGL, to play really close up, and to roam at the same time while trying to hit C4.
If you die, you can still IGL with those cameras very well. So it is, I think it is a good change. And we've seen a lot of Wilkie playing Valkyrie in the past. It is something that has been strong for him, so I definitely agree with that. And we'll see how it plays out this time, whether or not he goes on a roam for it, because that is going to be kind of the big difference, is whether or not he can actually play an effective roam, because he can't check his cameras as well if he doesn't know what. Well, as I say that, Uno, fortunately for him, that is Latzo coming all the way down to about 1 HP though. Still enough time for a reset, because they're going to need those line drones towards the end, so hopefully he could just go out and jump off the building real quick.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how many, there we go. He's got 2 more E1Ds to play around with, and Vale will go and pick up his buddy Latzo. He'll just be setting up to go in. You see the rotation downstairs from Kanto Raketti on the Jaegers. He pushes through the Lamborghini doorway. However, Pera's ready and won't be able to get the shot on him. Oh my God, Kanto, what a peek. Panari will get the second one as well, and that is Latzo down on the floor as he just popped his second lion charge, the E1D, and he can't really do too much with it. You finally take care of the mute.
Unfortunately, fighting from that side of the room, fighting from that side of the room is not working out for them because they're just contested on those stairwells. They can't keep Kanto out of there, and Kanto's just be able to push up on him. But I like this angle here. They're going to be able to. They know where that mirror's at. All they got to do is shoot him in the hand a few times, and down he goes.
That's the kill on Panari. Go back to the kitchen, they say.
They marked him with the ping, and it was an easy second kill for Rips.
Yeah, now they open up the mirror window, and they can't use it to their advantage. Unfortunately, the Fuser will get dropped. Double kill for Kanto Raketti. And that's the third one for him in the round here. Sprays from Hungary at distance, as this time he's got the T95 in hand. Jumps into the site, but the Diffuser's all the way in the back, and there's Wilkie still alive. He tries to peek but the ADSs are ready. One more Candela to play around with. He goes in for the crossfire. He doesn't spot the Valkyrie, but Kanto's ready. That's the 4K for Kanto Raketti, who is back in shape. This is the Juhani Toivonen that we've known for so long.
And that was definitely up to him that round, not just from the kills, but from the fact that he took down Para was basically what changed that round right there, because once they killed Para and he took control of that bottom floor and established that control, those stairs were right there. There was nowhere for them to go. It cost Lion his life. It cost, well, pretty much everyone else literally with a 4K their life, and they had such a good attack otherwise. Had Para won his fight against Kanto, I can almost guarantee they would have won that round. Just because Rips had a great angle, working in the room, killed both the site players inside the room, could have gotten great control from there, not to mention they would have had the extra play from the Ash to be able to go around from a different side or even repel the window if they needed to.
And Wilkie being so low on HP as well, it would have been one angle that he can try to deal with them, but also the plant would have been so much easier because there was nobody on A at that point.
It always sucks when you lose just one fight and that fight changes everything. Obviously, they could have rotated and pivoted a little bit and tried to contest Kanto a little bit better, but he had the whole bottom floor to roam, and they couldn't really control where he was going to be at because controlling roamers downstairs wasn't their function at that time. They were busy pushing site.
Could we just flash that scoreboard for just a second, Marcio? Thank you very much. Kanto Raketti indeed on the 4. Okay. I didn't want to sound too dumb there.
We are seeing Blue and Sunrise, though. Something I was talking about is a little bit less picked, but Hookah probably even less picked than that. So we are very likely to see all 4 bomb sites. We haven't seen Kitchen yet, but I think it is likely to come out from ENCE for their secondary bomb site, I would imagine. But at the same time, you know, who knows? They have 4 to play with. But hopefully Blue Sunrise is going to work out. Obviously, 1UP want to play things a little bit differently than ENCE do, because they haven't gotten to the conventional bomb site yet of Penthouse. So hopefully we see an interesting Penthouse defense from them as well. But ENCE do have some idea how this is being defended from Hookah, because they want to defend those cool vibe stairs right there, as they're called. Be able to push down onto that, and they're not going to give that up easily. The Mute Jammer's also making it hard for the drone, but he did spot one out. So that's going to help them in that, and they're really just trying to get roam control right now. First off, and this guy in the bathroom, going to be spotted out.
They're putting Kanto on the Ash, which is definitely an advantage for ENCE when you have one of the best Ashes in the world to to play around with. Unfortunately,
risky.
Kanto, such an angle at the ACOG here, getting the shot, takes down that camera, and is just in complete control of the theater.
Clear.
Unfortunate for Para, who was their intel man. He's not going to be giving any intel anymore.
He's just trying to snap in on his opponents. As Boonsy is up top with the line. He's speaking in, and not going to find anybody just yet, as again, this is a defense down in blue and Sunrise. You've seen this going very much in opposite direction yesterday with Latin America. Well, here it's much more standard, and even here the charge is not detonating on the wall because of the mute jammer.
They need to take mute out of that hookah and get that top-down control. Otherwise, this is going to be very difficult because they're still going to be fighting the cool vibe stairs. But Lotso getting that kill into Panari means no more Habana X Kairos and Diffuser sitting in a very juicy spot here that has 2 angles on it because it's on an L. This is going to be hard to pick that up if they know it. But Kanto, taking advantage of his speed, gets in. Wilkie takes down one.
Uncontested as he comes in, he takes down the mute jammer, he gets the kill from above. No, very close to it. Wilkie will get one for himself. That's Veil to refrag. Hungry's low on HP. He's going to have to pop the smoke here as Kanto yet again has taken control of the diffuser. He can jump down if need be from the hatch, but he's going to have to recharge and maybe use a second angle to get a shot on Hungry. And they'll indeed find an angle as Kanto fires at the legs, can't get the shot. He's got droning help from below. But Hungry being so low on HP, I wonder how they're going to be able to take him out. There we go. No!
What?
He's not even out. Oh my god. What is going on? Hungry, how do you survive this? There we go.
Wow.
Kanto will be able to take him out, but there's so little time remaining. Boonsy will be able to get the final frag as Veil cannot even believe that Hungry survived for that long.
Boonsy doing a good job with 2 kills thanks to the Lion Drone as well that round when they were able to push them. Just that unfortunate mark you get is the mark of death. And that was a good collapse. I mean, it took them a while to get control of hookah above, but once the last 2 defenders were forced to rotate back to site, they couldn't contest that upstairs at all, and you saw the shots through the floor. Even the desperate ones still finishing the job with the pistols. He tried to get away. We just saw a lot of running from 1UP, which was not the best way to be on defense, especially when a Lion's in play.
Now, speaking of running, Kanto Rocchetti was doing quite a bit of that himself, but being one of the best 3 speeds you could ever have, he can run around, and you saw the reactions. He just has a checklist and spots every single thing that needs to be taken out. Jammers, players, anything that's on the site, even using his charge to open up floorboards. So he's planning ahead even when running in. That is the sort of player that you know has spent almost way too much time learning every single part of the game.
Absolutely, and in this map especially, I imagine ENCE wanted to go here, although 1UP was the one to pick it. I don't think ENCE left it to chance. They definitely have a lot of strats here. As I said, they're going to more conventional bomb sites. They went upstairs first. They won that. Now they're going to be down in kitchen, whereas 1UP have not played either of those 2 sites. So I imagine now 1UP might consider maybe we should play one of the standard ones because we're not doing so great on the others. However, we are going to have Kanto on Vigil for the first Vigil here. That should be interesting to see if he's able to play freely on Roam with that Lion on board. As the 1UP lineup says, wow, Para already getting in a firefight through Lamborghini doorway, taking quite a bit of damage. Unfortunate here, as they need his intelligence later and his frag grenades to at least get some use. Otherwise, he was not the best pick as an operator. And that is an operator, as I said, he is quite good on. So Rips is going to need to help his buddy out on covering here because Kanto is going to be a thorn hanging out upstairs.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Hungry is in the Sunrise bar. He's just trying to peek through and maybe get a frag early on here. But it's not going to be the case as ENCE have stuck to the sites and around them. They're not overexposing themselves, and you see Kanto on the Vigil. That is a trademark.
And they have the Mute on the Roam as well, which can be pretty effective. I think Mute is actually a fairly effective roamer. He has a decent gun with good gun control at C4 and the ability to sit down his jammers and use them to his own advantage as well when it comes to covering his movement from drones. But he is going to have backup from Kanto. If they can play as a team together and trade as well, then it's going to be a problem for them to get enough top-down control to make this work. And then Boonsy getting spotted out, not going to matter as they're not above him to be able to get any kind of floor bangs or anything like that. So he's going to stay safe. They already probably know he's there at this point anyways. But Panari is going to be kind of the one they're going to have to try and get out of that room because he's going to be the one on the retake if they get the plant down. So Para, though, unfortunately not going to spend time to do that reset. And he's the diffuse carrier. That seems like a mistake to me, as we've seen time and time again. A diffuse carrier with low health is more likely to drop the diffuser in a bad spot. And then that can cost the attackers the entire round.
Well, he has to let the diffuser go in front of the bar here. Sunrise. And
we could have Hungry pick it up instead. Would probably be a smarter choice. Ying plants tend to work a little bit better because he's not blinded.
But then it's Hungry again. You definitely do not want to have Hungry going for
He's going to be good on coverage as well, so we'll see. The Kanto actually playing some interesting angles, long angles, trying to work his way. They do not have a lot of top floor control in terms of pushing them out. They haven't cleared the roamers between Kanto and Mute. They're going to be able to hold enough angles. It's going to be hard to keep the plant down if they can get it down. And this is, here it comes. Once they can get through that smoke.
Oh no! Kanto's ready for him. Look at that off angle. A couple pixels is all that he needed. Lasso though will get the refrag on Wilkie, and that's eliminating the Jaeger. It's not the end of the world. Losing Hungry here is pretty darn huge, though. Veil will refrag, take down Kanto. No more Vigil. As you see the E1D being popped up, as well as a smoke to cover anybody trying to move into the kitchen. Now Veil is all the way up top, and there's so little time remaining. Diffuser will get picked up, and Lato has to pop his E1D here before coming in. There are no more gas grenades to play with. Uno missing the shots on the Lion. Expecting them to peek, but won't be the case here as Rips gets one on Panari. Diffuser is going to get set by Latso, and Rips just running in here. Gets one, gets two, and Veil rotating in from the top side of the Habana. And lands the final shot with the Bearing 9, and 1UP pick up the second round on the board.
Now, they may not have had great top-down control, and it cost them quite a bit in terms of Kanto being able to play freely, but I gotta give credit to Veil for being able to pick them up after they expose themselves. And also good plays by Lion. Lotso, they're actually catching them out and stopping them multiple times. He made it so they were not able to defend the site properly, so he could get the plant down. He made it so that the roamers were going to be a little more exposed in terms of where they were playing. You saw Mute get stopped up by it, specifically when he was there actually able to play aggressively and trying to set up an ambush, was not able to do so because he had to stop moving. Because he was right in the exposed courtyard. So good plays by both the Habana and the Lion in terms of pressuring that, but that was a little close. I think they probably pressured a little too early before they had enough control of where Kanto could be, but I don't think either of them were expecting the angle as well. As you said, a very tight angle, and just smart play by Kanto. Like we were talking about earlier, I think they obviously know this map very well. I don't think ENCE came into this without a lot of map knowledge. And 1UP actually going to try Hookah again, see if they could play it a little bit differently this time. Now, last time they didn't play a lot of people on site, and I think it kind of cost them because once they lost the site player of Lotso on the Mira, they seem to not be able to retake it because they expose themselves quite a bit on that retake, because they either have to go through the hallway, which they're exposed to a lot of outside, or they have to go through the two doorway funnels, in which case one of them right near a stairwell as well that can be controlled. It becomes a big problem, but hopefully they will have perhaps Hungry playing over there this time. I don't know, he's setting up holes in the floor, which we saw last time really were actually used more by the attackers than the defenders, so yeah, hopefully they can hold that room, because we saw that is a very vital room.
You see Veil and Para as well that are still set up downstairs, so it's using the pulse to actually combo with the Legion. It's not usually your combo, you know, maybe Para with Rips would have been a better one to,
last
get
time,
a hold of the C4s.
We didn't really get to see because Para died early, so, and Wilkie, having a similar situation, decided to switch off onto Valkyrie, which tended to work out better for him. In this case, hopefully Para can do this. Now, Para is someone that we pointed out before was an Ella main in terms of roaming. And Ella being changed now, I can see why he's made the switch. I just don't know if this is a good of a defensive operator for him as he was in the situation before. He was more of a fragging roamer, but it was a situation where he was struggling on that role, so now he's more of an intelligence roamer. But that not to be underestimated.
Now, Para known in certain maps, especially Oregon, for example, there's spots that are literally called the Para spots because you always know that he's going to run up through those spots and always die to a Claymore.
Yeah, a little predictable.
Yeah. So that's a thing that ENCE can play to their side as well.
He's changed things up, and they're not playing Oregon today, so there is that. And he is giving some intelligence right now. It looks like he spotted out at least one. It looks like, judging by the backpack size, that's Boonsy right there. Yep. So he's going to be spotted. Not a lot of great intelligence on that, as he's not in an exposed area, but they know where they're entering from. And now they have control over VIP to be able to pressure towards the A site. They need control of that pool table. As you saw, that was vital to pushing into the actual hookah room. They're now opening up the walls. Lotso in a tough spot yet again. He's going to need some flanks from his roamers, or they're just going to be able to pressure him with 5-man strong in a minute left.
No, Lotso on the side, but Wilkie will get the first one here in Veil, and Panari will get the second, turning it suddenly into a 3v5. 1UP with Para, Rips, and Hungry. As Rips will get at least one as Kanto forced. You can't shift W when there's a Legion trap stuck in your foot. Hungry will pop up all the smokes at 36 seconds on the clock as Boonsey will pop his E1D going for the plant on the pool table. He can't get shot from below because you know what? That is not bangable with the C4. 2 kills here coming out. And Kanto pulls up the 5-7, can't get the shot as Rips takes his head off. But you know what? Uno is ready, set up in hookah. They'll find the kill with the FAMAS. And that'll be the round going ENCE's way, who are now 1 round away from taking map 1.
Unfortunately, the problem with trying to defend hookah, and you've seen it both times, is you have to be able to defend billiards and the hookah room. And hookah is exposed to the stairwell. It's exposed pretty close to the hallway, as you saw once they open up the wall. It's exposed to that outside balcony, and as well as billiards can be. So it's just exposed in a lot of ways. If they can crush from the other side, from the billiard side, and open up hookah and kill the person in there, there's very little you can do. You saw the plant go down on the pool table. At that point, they were so busy smoking hookah, thinking that's where it was coming down at. And you don't really need to plant hookah, although it is a good spot to defend. It's too much for them to defend with too many weaknesses on too many sides. I don't recommend they play it again, as it's already match point. Maybe they won't even get a chance to.
Very, very possible. Now, ENCE have not been super good when playing on the bedroom here, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I really do like the way that they're setting up here, making sure that you can't just flash in with the Ying and come in by the side of the bed and plant. Well,
at least statistically, they've won it half the time, as they won it one of the 2 times, and they won it the second time, which is more important because it shows they adapted to what the attack strat was. And it looks like we're seeing a similar attack strat in terms of at least operator lineup. So they're going to be a little more prepared this time. No real soft walls there for Glass to be able to penetrate through. He's going to be forced to use the doorway, but that also means they have no way to shoot or throw things. So
I'll be interested in seeing where the second mirror window gets set up by Panari here, but might have a quick run up from Cantor Raketti.
Nice try.
Won't find anybody, but maybe we can go back to Panari and see where he has things set up. Yeah, he's just going to have another one to look through in the hallway. Just make sure nobody's pushing him from there.
That's important. Yeah, you want to, right there in the spot that he's in, you really need good coverage of both sides of the hallway. And it's hard because one of them's on a corner and the other one's by some stairs, so you're not necessarily going to see them coming unless you're watching both. But at least he's able to fight it if he knows. Fortunately, they don't have like a Legion or anything like that to be able to know, but Wilkie's cameras could be in a spot where they're able to get some intel on that approach.
And it's definitely better than setting up a mirror window that's facing the back wall, because that can be Habana's wet dream, basically. Just firing Kairos immediately at the mirror window.
Yeah, and that's hopefully Vale's going to be able to do something like that. If not, he's not really as useful. They don't really bring a thermite, which is something you see some teams do to be able to open VIP wall, because they don't need to, because VIP wall is well open. But there are some great shots on Kanto, and that's a nice early start. Habana definitely doing some work. All right, that is an important player off the board who's been probably the top fragger for ENCE this match so far.
Yeah, Cantor Raketti out of play. He's got 8 frags so far, but Panari will refrag, and that is Vale out of play, who was on the Habana, so at least Kanto will be avenged right here.
Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to open up any of the bathroom wall first to make sure no one is in there, but nonetheless, that is not a great spot anyways for the defenders to be able to hang out at the moment. Hungry, again, he has died a few times early on trying to make that push start, so hopefully he can play a little bit smarter this time and have good coverage from Rips so that no one rips a C4 at him, for example, or anything like that, or get some shots at him while he tries to throw those candles in. He could roll them, as you said, try and time that right. And then we saw this previously, Para trying to fight the people downstairs. He hasn't won a lot of those fights, so he's got to win this one, or they're going to lose control of the downstairs again and have to deal with stairwells.
Yeah, Latso moving in here to the lobby. They've already detected one player moving in through there, but somehow that 3-speed from Wilkie just running up the stairs. Affected, sure, but he is still alive, and that's all that matters. Is remember, there's a lot of damage that was done to Para as well on the Ash. So right now, it's very much a tie-up, but Rips is still alive, and Latso still has his charges to play with. As Hungry is getting ready for those candelas.
Oh, he's gonna start.
Oh, no!
No!
Oh my god. At least one of them, the smoke is going to get thrown right in front of him, and now they have to push from the side. Candelas will get popped as we see the glass jumping in. Para will get one on Uno. And more smokes being thrown as they spot the mirror. Already help from Hungry. Hungry will get the second one, and Rips will rip the final player's head clean off of that. Wilkie out of play and 1UP. They're not giving up just yet. Oh my god, look at them.
Much better glass coverage that time, I would say. They were able to actually cover. I mean, it was close, though. He was trying to hit through the bomb, and it was a difficult spot to be in. But I think some of that was down to the Candela actually hitting accurately. And I like that he used the opening in the wall against them. I mean, he used the other doorway to clear out the ADSs, whether he knew there was that many or not. He was definitely in a spot where that doorway is way too risky to be throwing Candelas in anyways, because you expose too much of your body, whereas the other angle that he was throwing them through was much safer, as they had control over that. And then they had Rips watching the cross angle anyways on that. So it was much more effective that way. And then getting it smoked, they were able to get that. Just enough kills. And then you saw him just cowering in the corner behind that mirror window, looking toward it, hoping that they didn't kill him, but unfortunately they just stormed the castle and took it down. And now they're finally going to play Kitchen instead of Hookah. So they did get the chance to defend one more time, and they're being smart about it, defending the one bomb site we haven't seen them defend yet. I like that Mira facing out into the open hallway area, a little bit into courtyard. It's a nice angle to give them some extra information so they can play a little safer around the corner, because you don't want to be further near the B bomb because you're exposed to the doorway. We'll see if anyone plays bathroom, though. Now, they've got a mute jammer so they could try and stop, say, for example, Habana from opening up that wall. No one's really being playing Thermite yet, so that's not really going to be the issue. But Hera taking a risk here with this peek. It's, yes, you're invisible to drones, but you're certainly not invisible to guns. And the window is open, so it's a big Q right there.
That is very much a Q, and that is one of the spots that you will be checking every single time you push in. Now, there is the roof right next to you, hanging out in the open courtyard, so that is definitely something that can block you. Now, Uno going in for the droning as well as Boonsy. They'll both be moving in. They spot the camera above that was opened up, so they do see that the drones are in, so there's definitely somebody around the balcony. Remember, ENCE are trying to end this here at 5-3 to take it into the second map already. And 1UP are just staring up on the defense. They're trying to survive and take it into overtime.
That's, I mean, in general, that's where you want to be, is on the defense in a situation where they're a little more desperate to win the round, because then you can play time a little more effectively. But in this current meta with Lion, it's a little bit of a disadvantage in a lot of maps, just because defense is not so easy to do anymore. However, they do have some good extra intel, and Lazo getting the first kill onto Kanto, taking down one of their heavy fraggers is good. Panari, though, back on 2, and that, back and forth.
Yeah, 2 kills, and even utilizing the murder holes from below. That was 100% the play of the smoke there. And that leaves Boonsy and Wilkie alive, and the diffuser, well, in their hands. Sure, but you have to go through these guys. Oh, he'll get the tag. He'll drop one, but Rips comes in for it. And now it's up to Wilkie to save this. The IGL versus the 3. He's going to get tagged, and Rips comes in, takes his head clean off. That's yet again 1UP surviving and taking it 4-4, and will take it into overtime.
Well, they tried Hookah twice, decided it didn't work. Blue Sunrise, not so great either, but they definitely know how to defend Kitchen much better, and that was the way to go with the particular bomb spot. So, being overtime, they could choose it again. So, we'll see if ENCE were able to learn from that attack that just did not work last time. They weren't able to get a lot of map control, and then obviously Wilkie just desperately coming through the front door at the end. Even the Legion Mine being great for that, because it was able to let them know that he was pushing in. Not just that the door was open, because when the door is open, you can't peek. So the door being open is the first clue. The second clue is the moment they actually walk in, and that's why you have those Legion Mines inside. It's almost like
just like shift W with the Lion and
you can't run away. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you can't run in and you can't run out at that point. You're stuck there and you're having to fight it. Most people will push in with the Lion or the Legion in their foot because they know they're going to get peeked. But it worked out in Defender's favor that time. Para again going to be on that Vigil. Similar defense, I imagine, to last time in terms of at least operator lineup. I don't think they're going to get the same level of picks back and forth that we saw from them last time. This is going to be a little more of a careful attack from ENCE this time. They're going to have to get good top floor control and push everyone into sight and start to be able to work from there. But it's not going to be easy, as they have quite a few players off-site. Just Hungry and Rips playing on-site at the moment. Again with those mute drones. Working Para, taking that same peek again. Round 2, giving it another shot. Hopefully he can make it work and do something and not just get killed on that. They are going to see it here in just a second. They know, well, no, maybe the angle not giving it away just yet.
No, I don't think this Vigil peek is going to work out too well.
As long as he doesn't die doing it, that's the #1 thing. And he does get away from it, so he is immune to those drones for a second. Drops down. They're not going to be expecting him down here, but he does have to take advantage of it. Unfortunately for him, he hits a little more of the flags than a person. Now, Hookah control coming out here from ENCE. They want to clear that out first to be able to pressure towards the VIP side, control the northwest side of the building first, as well as those stairs Panari is droning right now. Once they can do that, they can start to pressure a little more from there, as they also have Blue Sunrise underneath. So this is definitely a very big northwest spearhead here, but they're also not pinching from other sides, which gives the roamers an advantage in playing on pretty much the rest of the map.
Cantor-Getty is just still stuck up in hookah. Spera is trying to move around him. Maybe trying to get a frag early on here. They at least limit the movement. Kanto gets some information about the visual. He's moving to his side. Panari comes on in, and now the shots fired from Pera. They know where he's at. They have to be careful. You see him falling back.
A little bait shot as well.
They want to keep ENCE on their toes, and I have to say,
that's his job.
Definitely happening.
Absolutely. That is what a Vigil should be doing. He doesn't necessarily even have to get kills. He's an A+ time burner. And so far, they're doing an effective job of that, as no one has died, and it is almost down to just the last minute. And they're still working on top floor control. They are getting a little bit more droning going on to get some idea what to do with that control. As they start to push right into a Legion mine to get that barbed wire. That's going to be a dead giveaway. So unfortunately now losing the advantage of surprise as Lazo gets Wilkie. That is sledged down, who was the clutch attempt last time.
Well, Pera is still alive. And as you said, excellent at burning time. Uno comes right back up, and they can try to push him with the drones and get some information, but then again, it's a Legion. You can't really do too much against that, though. Letso will go down, and as they go in for the takeout on the camera, Phil will nail the 2 kills, and he almost sprays down the 3rd. So much damage done here as he pulls out the pistol. Gets one more. There's still one alive, but Bonesy drop shots.
So
Pera's ready to clean it up, and 1UP will take the first round here in overtime. They're 1 round away from beating the current Pro League champions.
On this map.
Oh, on this map, yes.
Wow, that was a very impressive defense. The Roam just freely able to do whatever they want, playing very smart. They would give up an inch and continue to take a mile and stay just out of the reach of the attackers. They just could not get any control. And we're actually going to see our first Finka here this time from Pera, something, as I said, has been fairly rare, actually. But we'll see if it works. 1UP trying something different this time. It is going to be Penthouse again, as ENCE have successfully defended it some of the time. They're going to continue to refine that. It is no hookah for them. So they're going to keep trying it. But
33% of the time works every time.
Yeah, right? So we'll see. I mean, pretty much the same attacker lineup as before, except for Pera realizing his Ashe play downstairs was just not really helping a lot. So now he's choosing a global effect, right? Because he could have done this or Dokkaebi to be able to assist from there.
Is this the first time EU picks Finka?
It might be. However, this is a smoke-heavy site still, although smoke isn't necessarily your biggest problem on attacking this site, so I don't know if that'll play into it or not, but you've got to be careful when you pop that.
I think this is a really good read from 1UP. I think they realize that ENCE, to rely on the smoke, you have to have the sides fully reinforced. However, ENCE are opening everything up, which means Finka will not have as many problems.
Won't be as bottlenecked.
Yes, won't be as bottlenecked. And he's even going for the LMG, which is...
well, you know what?
All right.
If it works. Now, keep in mind, he can use it very early. He could pop one early as he's got 3 to be able to help on the roam control, because there's not really any downside to it when you're doing this, especially with no Legion on the board. There's just no reason not to boost the rest of your team this early if they get some idea where the roamer's at and they're going for the charge on them.
If there's anything scarier than Hungry playing Ying, it is a nano-boosted Hungry on a Ying. That is definitely something that is scary.
Well, we'll see what ENCE are going to be able to do about it. Now, they've got Wilkie on the Valkyrie again, which had been working better for them to be able to get a little bit of intel, but they've really just got to hold off the site. Because this site is so exposed to this outside area here, they're able to get control of Hall of Fame very early, and then usually VIP very quickly as well. It's just how they translate that to an attack is really going to depend on whether or not they can get some of the defenders dead, especially the ones downstairs. Nari getting marked out is definitely not going to help that cause.
Oh no! He gets up and gets the frag on Lutzo. That is a huge frag.
That's the diffuser exposed too. It's in a spot when he's marking it. You saw that ping, letting him know diffuser's dropped right here. Just guard this spot.
God.
That is, they're gonna have to smoke or something to be able to get that. Rips might have to burn one of the smokes. It looks like Vale gonna try and help with that as well with a stun grenade. But tough spot to be in. Unfortunately, Lotso too aggressive.
Unlucky there. Lotso will go down. Of course, with no Lion, it means that you're going to be running in with little information.
At least Hungry got the diffuser back. I'll give them that. But at least they have plenty of time, as this is where they need to be. But no one dead from the defenders means 2 people downstairs ready to get a C4. Both of them, I imagine, with that C4 ready to go. And, yep, they are definitely packing. And you're going to have to pick your plant spot wisely. So
this is the open hallway that they're waiting for.
Problematic, to say the least. They're going to need to have someone pressure downstairs because Wilkie and Uno can pretty much just hang out, and Para doesn't seem to be fighting down. There we go. There, he's going to start pressuring on them. Last time he was doing it from the window, but he's actually pressuring from the doorway. And then
oh, here we go! Headshot on Kanto. And this is why you go for a Finka with the LMG, because there's literally no recoil when you play around with here. He has still a second of the boost here. He can't go for the flash. Yes, he will. He'll get Uno. He can go for the second adrenal surge if he wants to continue with the frags, but so far he's looking pretty good. Wilkie low on HP. Now it's getting very, very close for ENCE eSports. They're up with one player here, one up, and they're going in with the Candelas. Hungry is nano boosted. He'll rush on in, and he spots one in the back. He spots both of them having a nap, and both kills for Vale to end the round. Are you kidding me? This is why we call him literally the best Ying in the world.
Hungry for those kills, and he is full stomach now. As a surprise win on map 1, and surprised because, well, we thought ENCE were going to be playing a little bit stronger based off some of those early performances outside of the first round, but a strong comeback there. Both Rips and Panari with 10 kills, 9 from Vale, 8 from Para. I think the change-ups, when we saw them, generally worked. I mean, we saw Wilkie switch, for example, from Pulse to Valkyrie. It was a lot more effective. Unfortunately, not that last round. And then Para switching up to Finka. That was a surprise because you don't expect a Finka with an LMG rushing 2 roamers, but they had the intel on it. And
like, you don't expect the Finka in general, but then a Finka with LMG, and the flashes were thrown correctly to throw in and go in for the second kill on the mute.
Also the very smart read that he was going to get pushed from the stairs. That's really what saved his life, because he whipped around like, I know they're coming for me. They're going to try and trade this, and they did. And Wilkie at least was smart and ran away and did try and trade it because they marked him right then too, so he knew exactly where to pre-fire with that LMG. It was just a case of well played by Para, who had been struggling to fight the downstairs people, instead fighting 3 of them, killing 2 of them, and leaving the last one wounded trying to fight VIP. Excellent attack that time, despite losing Lotso early, and lack of Lion Drone. I guess you didn't need it when everyone's blinded in sight, and you could just run in and shoot them in the legs. It's just so nice.
We're getting ready for our second map, and we're just going to be going into map number 2. That will be Border, and we'll see what they have in store for this one. This can definitely go into a third map.
Yeah.
But right now, there is a lot of pressure that is being put on ENCE. They do not want to lose this, especially being the current Pro League.
Well, and 1UP especially don't either, because you don't want to take ENCE to Chalet generally.
Yes.
And we've said this before in other broadcasts and other things, like we were saying yesterday, like you don't take them to this map kind of thing, is generally true for the most part. If a team's really, really strong on a map, it's not just their strats that you learn, it's the map knowledge that really pays off. And this is a map that somewhat favors ENCE, although this is one where we interestingly see some strategies from 1UP that have worked very well. We've seen some really good glass play from Rips, attacking from the typical Blackbeard side, for example, on the window, the AC window for archives, for example, or even playing on some of the other windows, playing just some really nice angles with that wall destruction, working to his advantage. I'm not sure if ENCE is going to be completely prepared for that, but this is their map.
One thing I don't think we're going to see is bathroom towers again. That's definitely not going to be a thing. But
maybe from 1UP. They're being a little creative with their bomb sites, so if anyone's going to do it, probably less likely to be ENCE.
I'd like to see where this black eye is going to go from Wilkie. He's just going to throw it all the way out. Now, there are a couple spots, especially one right above where Wilkie was standing in the barbed wire, where it's almost impossible to kill, especially if you're locking out of spawn and the Valkyrie is ready to go for a kill on you.
Yeah, and they didn't bring an IQ or anything that's going to be able to spot those. So that is going to be something that will work against them. But I got to say, despite having a sub today, 1UP are playing quite well. Lotso sometimes having some really on rounds, sometimes not. Interestingly, though, switching up with Para. So Para's going to be the line, and Lotso's going to be on Dokubi. So a little bit different than what we saw last round. But Rip's not changing up his game, as he is doing quite well most of the time on Glaz. Struggled with a little bit of warm-up. Maybe needed to warm up his aim a little bit, shake his hand out. but definitely seems to be on it now. Vale has been playing very well on the Habana as well. On ENCE's side, though, they've been struggling with switch-ups. Wilkie, again, on the Valkyrie, though, has been playing very well. Kanto, I think it's usually a bit better on Jaeger, despite the lack of ACOG, but...
Oh, no, he runs right in! Kanto Raketti will just go down. Doesn't even matter now. Panati just loses his mirror window even on the side. As well, the Habana is going ham. Boonsky, of course, on the Jaeger. Panati will get spotted.
A bomb has been
now
located.
the dedicated mirror after ENCE lost their dedicated mirror from before. Shante.
I'm surprised now we don't have Hungry on the Ying again, as it's very effective once you get that mirror popped and everything like that, ready to go into that room. He's going to instead be on Zofia, but he can hit the concussion grenades as well around the corner potentially to try and take down that mirror. So
that's the biggest part of playing Zofia for sure. I mean, I'm not surprised that 1UP bring a Dokkaebi. They've been one of the teams, even when KS is playing.
Well, usually it was KS that was bringing it, and he is the sub for KS, so obviously he's taking KS's spot. So that makes more sense why it switched.
Yeah, it's not just because he's into K-pop, but it's also because
he might be after this, depending on if that's the ringtone.
Yeah, if that that definitely would be your ringtone.
I like the spot here from Wilkie with the C4 already pre-planted. But the little beep's going to give it away. We'll see if they fall for it here. He's just waiting for the right moment to call it from his teammate.
Oh, no.
They're opening that up, though. He can't play that anymore. The same way, he's going to try and get another camera. He saved his pocket camera.
No. The camera just gets shut down on the side here as Rips runs in, but Panati is ready for a C4 of his own. The second one will go blown up, but you know what? That works perfectly into the hand of Vale here that can penetrate through to the desk room if need be, but no. Lazio comes in and gets the shot on Wilkie. That C4 has just been completely useless. And now you see Panati trying to move in, but the open side of the desk works cleanly on the sides of 1UP. Oh, Lazio will go down. A quick spray as well from Uno as he's so close to dropping away. Look at the double impact. Despair goes so low on HP. Boonsky watching the outside, but he runs right in, gets one kill, tries to find the second now. He's got Uno to help with. Still a quick rotation from Vale, who gets one in Hungry on the Zofia. We'll get the last one to clean up Uno.
And they had a decent retake set up. You saw ENCE able to actually retake the whole site for the most part. They went and killed everyone in there except for the people who managed to escape and retook the site and were set up to be able to go for a defuse, but it was set up in a situation where they actually had the wall open and were able to just completely play against that, because if you went to the diffuser, they had the long angles from CCTV, and that made it nearly impossible without some kind of flank around from behind. So it's unfortunate that they weren't able to hold that, but either way, 1UP with a good attack strat paying off. We'll see if ENCE can bring it back, as they're already on the back foot after losing the last map. They're gonna have to figure out what they need to change here.
To go for a castle, which you know, would insinuate a defense and workshop, but that won't be the case. You see everybody from 1UP putting a kill on the board to end the round there at the end. So
the team ace, as they call it.
Yeah, it's a participation for everyone. Everybody gets a reward.
Participation trophy.
And you know, I was surprised when we were casting our first matchup with Michael to see that somebody was actually setting up a mirror window in CCTV instead of fountain.
And, you know, it worked okay the first time because it was just they didn't necessarily know how to play it very well, despite that being something that was prevalent for a while. But looks like, I mean, I'm surprised Lazio has not set up that mirror on the small office yet. They reinforced the wall and he's off doing other stuff. But interesting, they're setting up almost like they are defending workshop. So they're actually setting Vale downstairs. So they want to control this downstairs potentially for retake, or to be able to at least make it a pain here for them to have downstairs control with this. 3 roamers downstairs. This is a very unconventional defense.
That's going to be, let's focus on the C4s. And that's why we've been seeing a lot of mute as well instead of just the bandit, because sure, you'll play the bandit with the C4, but it doesn't give you the disruption that a you know, mute device can bring you if you set it up really at the entrance of the rooms that you're defending.
Now the castle barricades though are going to be kind of a little bit of a giveaway that they're defending downstairs as well to ENCE, but ENCE have got to be wondering, you know, what's going on in terms of why they're setting up such a heavy downstairs presence. But Para is going to be able to give them a lot of intelligence for that, and the castle barricades are going to make it so he can roam a little more freely, a little more securely to get that intel for his team. But Wilkie has to make a call. Do I fight the people downstairs, or do I take the upstairs and just play against the C4 and have my boys go downstairs and start doing some killing while they're focused on trying to stop the plant, perhaps? But either way, Lion's going to come out, and that's going to slow down the roam here. This is their chance to do something, but they're too busy droning CCTV and clearing that. And it's already taken them a minute 15 just to get into the room, which is working out very much in 1UP's favor here, as they are not ready to open up the site yet, and they do not have a thermite. They're going to depend on Funari if they want to try and open up any of that wall, and he is not there just yet. Oh no, I'm sorry, they left part of the wall soft. Interesting choice.
This is
Attackers have located a bomb.
definitely very odd.
Maybe they didn't have enough reinforcements due to the setups downstairs.
Yeah, because they were setting up downstairs.
It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of potential reasons why they could be doing that if they wanted to be able to try and fight it. But as you can see, that would have been much better to just take that out and force them to use the X Kairos to open it up. As that sometimes they mess that up and can't even get a hole they can walk through. So Boonsy, though, trying to find a tight angle from the AC unit. This is usually where we see Glaz or Blackbeard. So having the Lion here, I don't think it's necessarily the best choice. He has a good gun, but I don't think he's a great peak fighter, as we've seen in some of the previous rounds. Pair, though, getting great intel on that approach. He's going to be able to call out to his teammates where that position is, so they don't have to peek into the lockers area, and that's going to put Uno on the off. He's going to wait for them to peek, but they're not going to because of Pair's callouts.
Yeah, especially here with the C4 being set. Unfortunately, he's going to be missing on this one. Diffuser will get dropped. This Veil will get the kill on Wilkie, and it turns it into a 4-5. And look at the shot from behind. Veil gets one. Uno will drop, at least drop him, but he's got to go over the finisher. There we go. There's so little time here left for 1UP to retake. They're down to the last, 50% of the plant timer. Here's Kanto and Boonsy will get a kill each, leaving Lazzo and Hungry both alive, though. Boonsy gets one more. This jumps into the window. The Twitch going in for the 1v1 against Hungry, but Boonsy's ready and just knows exactly when to rotate off of the ventilation back into the site.
I mean, overall, I think the strat kind of worked to an extent. They had good control of a lot of the map, and it was just down to them not being able to stop the plant. I mean, that was the whole point, right? Is you had the C4s to stop the plant. So literally the point of the strat just did not work out the way they wanted. Had they been able to stop that plant, there was so little time left to get the plant at that point that I don't think they would have been able to make it. So that was a really pivotal part of it, was them just not denying enough. The smokes didn't stop them. The C4 didn't stop them. Spraying through the hole in the floor didn't stop them. They were just persistent enough to make it work despite the time, probably because they were so low on time. So I can imagine them trying that again and it potentially working if they can adjust for being able to better stop the plant. But playing Turtle like that back, like without being able to do that, was really just not the right read at the time, I guess. But they're going to be attacking ventilation this time. We'll see if 1UP with basically this, well, actually the exact same lineup, yeah, if they'll be able to attack that as effectively. But they did have pretty good control for the most part of a lot of the area. But Castle coming out this time for upstairs again, this time from Wilkie, castling off the top of the stairs into that security doorway. Interesting choice. It looks like he could be setting up downstairs as well. So both of them actually wanting to do that. Of course, this case, it's the downstairs bomb site, so it makes a lot more sense. But there's the classic doorway that we just saw last round for a different bomb site. So we'll see. We didn't get to see necessarily where the third castle barricade went, but we did see where two of them went.
No, he still has it.
So
yeah.
Pocket barricade, interesting choice. There are definitely a few good places downstairs you could put it, but I like his peek attempt instead. He just didn't have enough time to set up the third castle barricade.
That's a lot of damage, though, done to Para.
No, he's going to have to jump off. He's got more than enough time to jump off the roof and reset. Unfortunately, Hungry's going to fall in the meantime, though.
All right, there we go. Great shot on Zofia. That will be one down. At least Hungry is going to be taken out. Para being low on HP. And Boonsy's just waiting around downstairs. He'll be the only one hunkering down as Kanto is set in the mirror window, just looking on the balcony.
Now, Boonsy's playing a little aggressive for a smoke that's at half health.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to be careful to not die too early, as they don't have a lot of other people to stall out any kind of attack. And Para decides not to? Oh, no, maybe he's going to go now. Yeah, there we go. It looks like he's setting up for the reset. Going to have Rips pick him back up as soon as he takes the plunge here. And there we go. Catch him.
Make it happen.
There we go. Plenty of time left, though. 2 minutes left. So now, in the meantime, though, Lotso is going to at least try and get some map control from East Stairwell. Try and take this side of the map to make sure. He's got to watch his stairs, though. They do have good control over offices area to an extent, but no one actually inside yet. So it looks like they
Oh, no!
Wow!
What is that? Veil lands the headshot on Kanto Raketti, and that's the bandit. Oh, like shoved out of the moon. Like, what is this?
That is the second time Kanto's died early as the bandit. It's just not been his day for playing bandit on this map.
He's been kicked all the way into Chalet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a shot.
Well, it's one off on either team, though, in this case, and Boonsy lower on health, so technically attackers of the, well, no, I'm sorry, Paris
pretty
also
much
half.
close.
So yeah, we're about even here, but time is burning out, so only a minute left to get in here.
One thing to keep in mind is that there is no no Thatcher, there's no Thermite to try and penetrate from the top side. But they're going to try to push in from the side. Finally here, Rips sets up. They'll play in with the E1D. Here the Habana is just going to open up the side by Panari as he is just spending a lot of time trying to take down the Dokkaebi signals here. Vale comes in with a drone, but there's 30 seconds on the clock. Push needs to happen now. And Para will get the first frag in this startup here as Wilkie will go down. That's the castle, and now the bandit out of play. Para just keeps running in, and he plays with his second E1D. There's 16 seconds on the clock, and now there's really no time.
Now there's desperation moments here.
Oh no, Rips comes in. He's gonna spot the movement in the back on A, but they're gonna miss. They'll be able to take down Panari here, but Boonsy will refrag. He's spotted, but oh my God, no. Just no. That is just definitely not how to attack.
Unfortunately, while the Execute did get quite a few kills and they were working pretty effectively in angles, they had no control over most of the map to push until the last 20 seconds, and they had no way in. They didn't have a thermite or anything to open up the bathroom wall. And it was just, where do we go from here? I don't know. Take pot shots through the wall at this point, despite even spotting them out. So that's the downside of just fighting for frags and map control at that point. We are going to see a different bomb site, though, customs.
Yeah.
For this one, so
hopefully they don't spend so much time. It's been a thing today where teams have been spending so much time trying to set up that they lose the round because they have no time to push. We're turning back to a thing that was a meme a year ago, last 20 seconds.
Well, but that's been always kind of the thing with Vitality. So that's
but in general, even here from 1UP, it's going everywhere. Too many teams have started to do it, and this is not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, 1UP is going to be the one to play the unconventional bomb site, so we'll see if this throws off ENCE in terms of their attack setup, because I would imagine they're expecting either lockers or ventilation, but nope. It's not going to be bathroom tellers, but we actually have seen bathroom tellers technically today more than we'd seen customs, because we hadn't seen customs yet. So
I mean, one thing we were highlighting at the start of the week is that this is a metagame that relies a lot on timing and quick pushes.
Confident aggression.
Yes, confident aggression and well-timed aggression. However, it seems like even with all the information that Lion brings, teams just are not always able to exploit that information.
Because you have to remember that it's not about Lion, it's about Lion plus drones.
Yes.
That's really the key. And if you're burning off your drones early, getting them killed, chasing roamers without any way to follow that up, yeah, you can have 2 active drones at a time now, which is great. You set up one in a position to be able to cover your flank, and then you use the other one to chase roamers, but nice wall spray there. It does do a little bit of damage to Lotso, but yeah, and then you only get 2 drones for shock drones on Twitch. Here's the old avian spot.
I've even seen Fabian at Gamescom land a couple shots there with the Twitch. That was, of course, the Season 5 finals.
Wow, shoots it right off.
That is very impressive here. Nicely done, Lotso, training the aim, and that's a very interesting double mirror window setup.
Yeah, it kind of worked, though. You got to admit, like it was in terms of them actually stopping it from going in. You rarely see a window facing out like that.
This forces the attackers, though, to take so much time to burn into CCTV.
Yeah.
And even when they go in there, it's CCTV. It's not really the most important place to go.
Well, it is for customs in the sense that you need to attack top down. But if, again, like you're already out of time at that point, what are you even going to do with that? And unfortunately for him, getting spotted by the E1D, going to get him killed, but it gets traded, and then Boonsy gets one on Lotso, going back and forth at a 4-3 and 4-2 now.
Yeah, well done here is Panari will get the kill on Vale. A spray from Ribs that he spots the player moving from top side. Hungry is well set up with the SMG-11 on the smoke. Still a minute 5 left in the clock, but a lot of damage has been done to ENCE eSports. This definitely can be shut down by the Germans.
They just need to finish some of these kills on Boonsy and Panari, and they would actually be at an even man count here. But it is all on ENCE to actually pressure into this. Now they do have control of the top stairs, so this is where Hungry is going to go for the flank. At this point, Rips almost needs to distract them a little bit to keep them busy focused on dealing with him, because Hungry's flank here is going to be key. He's actually going to rotate around. And all 4 of the attackers are downstairs, so this flank's not going to do anything just yet in the plant. Going right down is not going to help things out.
Attackers are activating.
Boonsy along the outside as well, just trying to clear up any of these rotation. He even see these. Oh my God, no! Boonsy now will get the kill on Panari. Usually it's the reverse, as Boonsy now will go down, but a nice refrag. At least Uno puts it back on the board. Now Rips last man alive here for 1UP against Uno and Wookie, and the Claymore. He runs right into it. Perfectly set from Uno, and he just like sits it in the barbed wire. There's no way you can see this.
Beautiful angle. Like, he actually could have potentially clutched that out. Landing that C4 kill was important because the other one was on the other side of the wall.
I can't believe it.
That was a heck of a customs defense, though. I do think there's definitely some potential in that customs defense to work out. Although, keep in mind that it did almost work in the sense that ENCE wasn't necessarily prepared for it either. So if they try and do it a second time when ENCE is more prepared for it, if they have a strat for taking that site, it might not work as well. 1UP, though, going to be going back on the same attack they have been before, on the same site from ENCE as they had before. This time, ENCE are going to be a little prepared for that attack. However, the big difference here is now Hungry is going to be back on that Ying, which I was saying before, would have made things a little more effective on that attack. So hopefully that'll work out for them, as that is a very effective push, especially combined with Rips on the glass, either from a different angle or from fighting from CCTV side, for example, through the smoke. Can be very, very deadly on this, but Pair are going to be on that Lion to try and help to make sure that they can't even push in to where he's going to fire at. However, I imagine they're probably going to have Wilkie a little bit on the roam again. And that's something they're going to have to worry about, because he's going to be packing C4. He's going to be flexible in the roam. He's going to have his camera set up. We even saw him with a pocket cam where he threw it up and actually helped the C4 come out right after that. Because that C4 blew up at the right time, I think partially because that pocket cam spotted them.
Honestly, I wouldn't really set that up too much in the hands of the camera, because...
Oh, it sure helps?
Yes, but also the hole that was opened up by the C4 actually allowed the attackers to gain a better point of view into the desk. So, you know, yeah, sure, you can use it, but I wouldn't rely on a position like that, at least for that final C4 shot.
Now, so far, ENCE have won more points on this by far with 2 ahead, but I feel like both those 2 that they got ahead were very close rounds. I feel like we could see a comeback from 1UP here, especially with the adjustments they've been making, and they got control of CCTV very quickly. Interesting angle setting up there.
So we've been seeing a lot of Dokkaebi from 1UP through 6 Invitational all the way to here, and it's been working out pretty decently for them.
I asked KS why he plays it, and he said he likes the DMR and he likes to be able to use it with pushes through smoke. It tends to be very effective at stopping them from being able to fight you, but it's not him playing it, so hopefully Lotso is as effective on the DMR, because it is a difficult one, but it is a nice SMG to make up for that if you're not too comfortable with it.
Yeah, going for the peek as he takes down the mirror window, and I can just look right on in.
Ooh, that's going to help Rips, that's for sure.
Nice. And unfortunately, these holes that were opened up by Wilkie before with the Deagle on his Valk now play into his disadvantage, as Rips can just cut off rotations by shooting in the legs, but they still have to deal with the Mira on site.
Now, no one's died, and they have 1:30 left. It's very well can make this push work, especially if Pear is able to do some work downstairs and clear out Wilkie here, who's playing pretty much the same spot he was previously. But they've got to do something about that. If they could just even put pressure on him while they attack the site, that's going to make him ineffective down there.
Here we go.
Oh, they spotted now.
That's exactly what they need. C4 is going to get readied up here by Wilkie. As Pear is just spraying in, trying to push him out of position. Not sure if he landed the C4 up top on the desk, maybe, you know, waiting for it. That's why he was opening up the side to get a better angle on the C4 to be thrown. No, we don't seem to see it anywhere here, as Rips has not been able to find a frag. 48 seconds on the clock as the second E1D is now popped.
No one dead at this point is not good for 1UP. Just the delay here, waiting for ENCE to make a move. They're not going to make a move because they're at a huge advantage right now. And that's the last Lion burned, and Plant's not even down yet.
Yeah, it's important as well to take control of the ventilation here, as we see from our Ying. Now they will be able to spot the Mira, and finally They'll be able to shoot right into the booty, as you say. And that's Para with one, the second one as well from Rips. That's 2 down out of play, and he almost flips for the headshot here. But it's Para that'll help out. Diffuser will get planted here. But Uno still alive, running for the headshot. Para spraying down. I'm not sure why he's just not spraying a bit lower than that. Already gotten the hit on the Legion, but Uno is all on his own. He's got a go mine to play with, but there are crossfires. Look at those. Look at the attackers of where they're set up. And he needs to go through the desk area. And even then, it will not be enough. It's Para that'll run in and get the final headshot to clean up the round.
And that's what happens when you have a confident Glads player who knows how to push into a site aggressively. Because, I mean, obviously he's not a CQB operator, and they don't intend him to be as a design. He's meant to fight at a little bit longer range. But once they went for the push there, they had enough intel on where everyone was positioned. They knew what Wilkie was trying to do. They knew what was going on inside the small office. They had an idea that someone was probably playing behind the bomb because they'd been pushed out of the small office thanks to Rips. So as soon as he walks on in, he knows enough about where everyone's at to land those shots and just almost decimate the entire defense. Just himself walking through that smoke as just a one-man Terminator. And then in the meantime, behind him in the warpath, they can go for the plant. So I think that was well executed, but it was a little close on time budget. But at least by that point, they decided, you know what, they're not going to push us, so now's the time to push them. And so that was the right choice, just a little bit late. But they did have more than enough coverage. And once they pushed Wilkie off his spot with that drone, that was, I think, the last bit they really needed to do to be able to get that going. So very effective. But still going to be 1 point behind. But now they're going to be defending ventilation for the first time. Once again with the castles, this time obviously a little bit differently. They're going to have one over here on the B bomb site door towards the front door. Try and cut off that rotation. Something we saw a little bit earlier today as well in the Vitality match. They use that also. But that's very effective as you want to stop them from being able to pressure you if you rotate through the holes inside the server side.
However, that's the problem. Like, you need players that are actually watching that spot, because a lot of times you just see it. What?
Vigil must have gone for a peek.
That?
Para, yeah, he did a jump out. That was not smart.
Not smart at all.
Unfortunate, as he had been an effective roamer on Coastline, but he's getting a little greedy with these spawn peaks, and so far they have yet to net him a kill. So maybe we need something more akin to what we saw with the Cafe Freezer with that little tiny peak hole earlier in the previous match.
That was basically all it took. It's just that one pixel. At this level, you know, we're talking about players that can just spot out one different shade of color and know that it's a different that it's an operator, not a wall, and just shoot immediately into it. But here, it's a great start for ENCE. They clear out the Vigil, which is the scariest roamer that you can have on here. So it's a really good start, and they're going to be pushing into the back office.
Now they know where Lotso is as well, so he's going to be under a lot of pressure, and the Lion's going to make sure he can't rotate. They probably could have popped that a little bit earlier to stop him from rotating back then. Probably would have been the smart choice, but nonetheless, they're still going to get a little bit of extra pressure as they try and take control. They have CCTV, they're pressuring from offices as well. The pinch is coming down, but Lotso's actually rotated downstairs. He took advantage of the delay in the Lion's move back to site. Did give up top floor control, but without losing his life, unlike Para. That's a good position to be in, despite both Lotso and Hungry taking a bit of damage, and Hungry trading it back onto Boonsy, though. That's a lot of damage, and the Lion gone. No more pressure on the roam here. They're going to be able to reposition a little more flexibly now. However, with a buck on the enemy team here from Wilkie, he's going to be able to open up a lot of the floor and make positioning, at least in the workshop, a lot more difficult now that they have at least most of that map control upstairs.
Uno moving in here on the Twitch drone, trying to find an opener, maybe on Lotso's mirror windows, but at least one of them has been completely disabled because Panari is already in on the top side. Now they have opened up the hatch, and I believe that hatch was already open from before. Uno will get at least pushed back for a second here. C4 from Lotso, though, lands on Panari's head. And that's Panari and Boonsy out of play as Uno, Kanto, and Wilkie. And the last three alive versus the crew here. One up with 35 seconds on the clock. This is looking really good for the German crew.
Yeah, they're really stalling them out too. They don't have a good way to push except through that doorway. That's going to be a funnel of death here. Wilkie at least trying to open up some of the wall to give them better angles, but that's not an angle of approach so much. That's an angle of just shots.
They can't even contest the bathroom because there are no more charges.
No more thermite. No one's bringing thermite.
There we go, kill number one, easy kill, and then the second one. They're just running into Lotso here as he's waiting for the last one to jump through. There is nobody from here because he's all the way in the vent room. He runs in, and Kanto will go down. Defenders will take the 6th round here as 1UP. They're really proving to be a thorn in the sides of ENCE. I think they understand exactly how to deal with the Finnish team here.
What I think is great about that is, so first off, they pushed Lotso out, right? They get him out of the room with that drone, and they don't line him to know where he rotates. He rotates downstairs and then still kills someone with a C4 from below, and then they still can't clear out lockers. They just sit there in lockers, and you saw, if I understood this correctly, it looked like the smoke actually smoked from below through the office's hatch right into there. So they can't even push the one guy still left in lockers. And since they never took control of that, then they end up fighting this losing battle without the full top-down control that they wanted, because that's the room actually above the bomb site. It was just, it completely fell apart for ENCE there. 1UP playing it so smart in terms of the way the angles were and not being pushed out, and ENCE not reading into that to be able to push from the proper angles from the locker side, for example. It was well played by 1UP.
Can this possibly be a 2-0?
That would blow a lot of people's minds, I think, for 1UP to come in with a sub and 2-0.
KS was the problem.
The reigning champion. Right. Let's blame him. I love that we interviewed the person that's not playing too. It's great.
I mean, you know, you can count Nicholas as the coach for this.
He's coaching for this round. He's like, okay, here's Lotso. Here's how you do what I do.
Hey, if you've ever listened to their comms, that is literally what happens.
That's amazing.
KS might be a bit of a more compact person, but he's definitely packing a lot of heat and passion in that body of his.
Unfortunately, if I listened to their comms, I wouldn't know what they're saying, as they are speaking German. So
I think I understand it.
I understand they sound angry.
No, that's KS in general. But
yeah.
Para is here and on the Lion.
Same lineup previously that we've seen, as Hungry is again on the Ying, which is, well, it
working
pretty well, yeah. So go with it again. Rips has been very effective on this particular map, I would say, with Glaz. So it's just a case of him getting the angles that he needs, getting the pressure that he needs to be able to hold those angles so they don't fast peek him. And Lion, of course, is going to help with that. But they're pressuring from the archive side as well this time with Para, so it's an interesting switch up from before. As they go for an office's take, it looks like, rather than from the locker side that they've been doing previously. So Hungry also going to be effective in that, as he'd be able to go, if he can get into fountains, he can easily Candle the archives room. And then with pressure here from Para as well, they can pinch onto the site. And then it's all about fighting people into the lockers room from these angles. And I like the way he's actually using a rappel angle to pre-fire, and he's making it so hard for them to contest archives.
Punari from below, just trying to spray through and open up more parts of the hatches and maybe like spot somebody to get a frag on. But 1UP very wisely not exposing themselves at all. As Punari is back on the cameras, he's making sure that nobody gets a quick peek.
A lot of time left for this too.
He can shut down the balcony. He has a nitro cell that can pop above and beyond the desk. There's a lot of work that can be done here by Punari on the Mira, but maybe they'll be able to spot him out if done correctly by 1UP.
So they're scrambling to decide who's going to carry the diffuser. Now, obviously, a minute left is pretty good, but they don't really have the top-down control, and we saw this was the big problem for them in previous attacks. This was the big problem for ENCE as well. They can't seem to move from here, and again, without the thermite, they can't open any alternate angles, and they're forced to fight through the funnels that have been set up by ENCE and smack doorways here. Glad's even going to have to help out with that. They're really struggling with those castle barricades and reinforcements.
Yeah, he'll smack through the barricade. So we're down to 40 seconds. E1D is going to get used up here by Para. They won't be able to spot Wilkie, who's just standing idly in the customs area. Uno will get one, at least turn it into a 4v5. That's Lotso out of play before he gets to pop his logic bombs.
Unfortunate. I mean, that's not the most critical part. It's better than Para dying early or Hungry dying early, let's be honest. But
now Rips will run in here. They allow him to get into a better position as he sprays here right next to Boonsy. Somehow the shot's running right next to him. Now there are the workshop models there right in front of him there that can't do really much against him. Rips will get one. Pioneer will trade off. There is no time on the clock as Vale cannot even go for the defuse plant. And yet again, all these teams are just falling into the same exact mistake.
Somehow ventilation is the fortress no one can breach at this point. And none of them thinking, maybe we should find a different way to do it. Because they're doing the same thing. They're taking offices upstairs. They're trying to pressure from down into the actual, like, the lobby side. not able to get any footage from there because they can get into the bathroom, but what can they do from there? Snipe through the wall, and that's not getting most kills because there's a lot of positions where you can avoid that, as you saw. He moved away from
Boonsy was just sitting behind a indestructible wall, and then you can't do anything against that.
Yeah, and the castles are slowing them down so much and trying to make that push that they're giving their approach away as well in trying to make it. So I really think, I know it sounds ridiculous, but just bring a thermite. Just bring someone that can open up that wall, or at least have Habana open it up so you can pressure and go for a plant from there, because trying to run in to the one big open door with the Candelas wasn't enough.
That's what they tried, though. You see the wall that was reinforced right next to the entrance to the bathroom? The lower side of it was opened up by the Habana and the Kairos, but they didn't really use that angle for anything because...
No, you need to go in.
Yes, exactly, because when they come into the other side, well, the bathroom, sure, you have control of it, but there's so little time that unless the defenders made the mistake of opening up everything for you, then there's no way you're going to get in there.
Yeah, and that's something we saw a little bit more on the Coastline, at least, defenders opening up things for 1UP. But in this case, yeah, definitely not working on their favor. We'll see, though, if they can successfully defend this bomb site again. As if they do not, we will go on to map number 3. If they do, we will go into overtime. So this is 1UP's time to shine, to try and make it possible here that we see a 2-0. Because if not, it's definitely going to be a 2-1 at most for whichever team can take Chalet, which does, again, favor ENCE.
Yeah.
So if you're 1UP, you really want to try and stop them here. I mean, obviously, that's I guess that's kind of stating the obvious. You always want to stop them wherever you're at. But in the case of putting yourself in a position where you're more likely to lose, you definitely need to. So they're at least taking control of the east stairwell, which is normally something that would be Ash's job. But in this case, getting the Claymore down is important to make sure that you can control this so that no flanks are going to come up. There's the Ash that was supposed to be doing that. But they've got this hallway now. Camera's going down. They can start to open up this wall, which is already a little pre-open for them. That's nice of them.
Oh!
And, that just burned out the ADS, though.
Yes.
So that is important. Now they can land the second shot if they want, but now they are out by 1.
They did use that on purpose, though, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
You do use that to burn out all the ADSs from the Jaeger. Of course, that is Veil playing around with it.
Yeah, it's going to be harder for them to sit behind that wall now.
Some of the changes that people have been talking about, like, hey, how about Kairos not being able to burn ADSs? That would be pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like Capitao doesn't actually is immune to ADSs, which is something that is not always factored in. But Panari, though, is going to start the push here, and the window is open now. So there's the easy kill, though.
No.
You got to fight 2 there, Panari.
Not even flashes. We've seen this mistake even in game 1. And Veil will get the second. That's the Twitch and the Habana out of play. The smoke will get thrown out. Sure, you could flash in, but it's already too late. Look at the amount of damage down that's been done to Kanto, who will go down. The Wilkie and Boonsy will turn it into a 2 versus 2. Now look at the angle, Hungry, are you kidding me? The kill will happen, but Wilkie is the last man alive. He's got the sledge. He'll hear the smoke in the back, but as he moves through the barbed wire, gonna get spotted. He can't run into the desk area. That is so smart here from Rips. Can run out with the shotgun to get a final kill.
So he's not on the shotgun.
He's just waiting around here for his teammate to come in, and Rips will get the shot on Wilkie.
Overtime.
The 3rd overtime today, the 2nd overtime in this one match.
Well, last time it was overtime, worked out in 1UP's favor. If they can continue the momentum, this could get interesting very quickly.
Let's see.
Ventilation. There we go. Go to ventilation. That's what you do. When you can go again, go to the one bomb site that's working for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Although that does mean if this does go back and forth, they have to defend twice. They did successfully just defend the top floor, though. So it is possible. So if they win this, and for whatever reason lose the next one, because ENCE, for example, plays ventilation.
Or ENCE, you know, tries to push Fountain without even flashing. Or nobody actually peeking through the side of the mirror window, holding an angle. What is this? Oh my God! Well, how does that mistake keep happening?
I guess they think, you know, because one mirror window's open, you know, like I can see through there, so I'm fine. I'm not going to get sandwiched. But Wilkie, unfortunately, the IGL struggling to get the kills, and I think sometimes that's a big problem for ENCE because we've seen. I mean, Wilkie being the IGL, you don't expect him to get a ton of frags. But when he has, his team does significantly better.
Yes.
It's like Canadian, right? Canadian is not necessarily meant to be their fragger. He's their IGL. He's one of their information guys. But when he goes off, or when he at least lives through the round, they're that much more effective by far. Because not only is he killing people, he's calling things out for his teammates. He's getting people to help him flank. He's doing flanking himself because he's got all the intel from the rest of his team and making calls to get support on that. But it's a case now where a lot of pressure on ENCE here for after that interview with Wilkie to try and prove that they have adjusted to what they struggled with at Invitationals. And so far, 1UP proving that they maybe have adjusted to be even a stronger team than ENCE have so far in terms of that break that they had.
I think it might be time to realize that there are still some things to work on. Even if this goes to map 3, ENCE eSports have to realize that this is not a score that they should ever be happy with, especially looking at their pedigree.
On map 2 as well,
yeah.
They'd already lost map 1. Para here didn't do anything stupid this round in terms of jump outs, so he's going to be alive that much longer, and this is going to be that much harder for ENCE to really even get any map control, which they'd already struggled with on this bomb side.
This is what I like, though. The mirror window will get opened up here. The Twitch just sniping the windows.
Good play by Uno. Unfortunately for him, it has not turned into anything just yet, but last time Mira got out of there, did some serious damage from below.
Yeah, Latzo can definitely rotate down, and that might just be the thing that he's trying to do.
Hopefully, yeah, he crawls his way down to the site because he's more effective down there anyways, and he's burning up enough time. Plus, they have Para, who's really going to make it hard for them, and there goes the Twitch drone. Unfortunately, that was probably the last shock drone that Uno had, so at least got one mirror window with it, and that's what's important. Now you hear the X-Kairos going as well to open this up, but there's still a minute and a half, and they have yet to get any of these roamers out of here as Latzo finally drops.
Oh, bit of a close angle here as some damage is done. Uno is very low on HP, and he'll get dropped to the floor. Now it might force the Lion to come in and go for the rest, but this should be enough to clean him up. Nicely done as Hungry peeks up. He just drops back, and the second kill goes the way of Fail. Still, Rips is upstairs, and I highly like this kind of play as Hungry gets one more. Panari and Wilkie. Wilkie yet again last alive. He'll go down, and Para cleans it up.
Oh, no.
What is happening to ENCE?
Wilkie had all the advantage in the world. He was spotted by the EE1D. They knew exactly where he was playing. It was the same spot he played last time. And instead, Wilkie just opens up an angle and says, hey, by the way, I'm going to be peeking this in a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1, shoot me in the head. That was unfortunate. But
this is a huge up here for 1UP.
Yeah.
Because, you know, both teams have been playing pretty effectively on the defense. Now, you win the first defense round, and ENCE this time will go for a ventilation workshop.
So the question is, will they finally figure out how to attack this properly? If they do, if they're the first ones to really crack ventilation here.
Well, it would be already over.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be it. Like, that's all they have to do is they failed.
Did you do your homework on the third time? Will it be the charm? If it is, then you gotta win.
If you think about it, they actually have an advantage in that they've lost this twice to know what they're doing wrong and to adjust for it. So, like, I mean, depending on how you think about that, right? Obviously, ENCE has been strong on it, and ENCE has been able to shore up a little bit of their weaknesses as well. But if 1UP just takes a moment and goes, you know what? This is why we keep losing it every time. Fixes that, and it's potential. Obviously, that depends on ENCE defending it the same way, though. So we'll see. They are putting a lot of resources upstairs, which is generally what teams do when they're defending this bomb site. Question is, will they be playing 3 up top as they are right now, or will they have people rotate down? They have hatches open so they can rotate. They are going to have Kanto playing Bandit Tricky on there. Kanto hasn't been doing the best on Bandit, but still a good fragger nonetheless. And so if he can live a little bit longer and stall them, maybe this will work out in their favor. They even have mirror windows up here on the wall to be able to fight that. And he's going to open up the other CCTV door so he can see through there with his mirror window. Full reinforcements on there. So they are going to push it, though. Rips is going to try and see what he can find out. And unfortunately, no soft wall means he can't really get any advantage, but I do like that he's at least trying to drone CCTV safely first.
Yeah, nobody moving around in CCTV. And that's because there's nobody from ENCE that is actually set up there.
Take control of it now while you can, then, before people rotate in there. But now this is where Bandit's going to become a Bandit tricking problem. They don't have a Twitch or anything to do about this. Maybe call him at this point. See if he goes to answer his phone. Whoa, wall bang, what?
Latzo solo on HP, but at least this forces back Kanto Raketti. And this might have just been the thing that they needed here. Hungry trying to set up a close-up angle with a T95 as Kanto will have to fall back into the desk and even rotate back onto the site if need be. But so far, a bit of damage done to 1UP, and ENCE have gotten just a bit of control, wasting time early on.
Still, though, nearly 2 minutes left. It's still pretty good for 1UP. Forcing people out this is much better than ENCE was able to do to them. I mean, Latzo took half his health in the process. Still has a phone call left, though, just in case. Unfortunately, no smokes left. He definitely burned a lot trying to get into that room. And 3 Legion Mines just sitting there on Uno, waiting for the right place to put them. Got to be careful, though, because if he dies with those in his pocket, that's a big, fat waste that could be used to help your teammates trying to clutch later on that need that extra bit of sound intel and poison. So we'll see, though. They are clearing out the customs area. They're going to get a lot more intel on whether or not there's roamers playing anywhere near there. And that's what they needed because they were struggling to push this area so much last time. I almost feel like they should just go for a B bomb site plant at this point because pushing into that big open room with 5 people left alive is a seriously dangerous proposition.
There we go. Moves in right at the last second before the E1D gets popped. Spera realizes, okay, well, Wilkie has already set up his armor panels, and he's even in the main passport check.
He's ready for a flank. He's going to impact nade that wall and run on through the moment he needs to. Fortunately for him, he's just got to know exactly when to do that. And he is the IGL, so he makes that decision. But timing is everything against Para here.
Oh no!
Wow.
Straight through the wall, we'll get the shot. Para will go down. Impact nade though will come in, and they will hear it in the back. They'll be able to spot him here on the rotation. Boonsey will get one, and Vale will get Panari. Hungry with the second on Boonsey. 4 versus 2, and 1UP might actually be able to do this, but Wilkie on the rotation for the back will get the kill. Rips down. No more glass to play with. 10 seconds on the clock. The diffuser is set. Down on the site, they'll be able to pick it up. Hungry peeking right outside. They'll go in for the bomb plant. Wilkie has not checked yet, and Para and Vale will get the last 2. I cannot believe this. 1UP eSports. 1UP eSports in their first season as this full squad playing with Lotso, their coach, instead of KS, are able to beat.
Are they gonna let KS come back now?
KS was the problem. 6-4 on both maps.
Wow.
I didn't even, like, there's no reaction to this. 10 kills for Boonsey is not enough to save the game. 9-8, 9-9, 4.
Literally, Lotso at 4 is bottom fragging.
Yeah.
That is...
That's still better than 2 or 3 of the players from ENCE.
Yeah.
And he's not even, I mean, he's probably playing the IGL role here. Yeah. Within the team. He is, of course, the coach. You don't expect him to play on the highest level.
But it's not like he didn't play before.
Yeah.
He's not someone who's just like, oh, I just watched this game a lot.